Welcome to the show. Brock Page here. Random sports picks for fun. KC travels to Dallas to take on the Cowboys in Arlington. The Dallas Cowboys opened up as the 1-point favorites with a total at 48.5. Since the betting opened up, we've seen significant movement on the total in favor of the over. Those over bettors have moved the line all the way up to a rotund 51 points. We've also seen some movement on the Cowboys to get the job done against the spread as well. Right now, Dallas is laying 1.5 with the total once again moving up to an even 53. And at the moment, Dallas is laying $1.25 to win this one outright. Now, if I had to take a guess, I say we could very well have a flip of the lines in this one. KC has been just too damn good against the spread on the year. And as a matter of fact, Kansas City against the spread has gone an impressive 6-2 against the number overall. KC's also 3-1 covering on the road and 1-0 covering when catching points. The Chiefs have also gone 1-0 covering as the road dog and 2-1 covering against winning teams. Most recently, this Kansas City squad has covered 2 of their last 4 and have marquee covers over the likes of Washington, Philly, and New England on the year. They're going up against a Dallas ball club who's struggled against the number thus far. They've covered just 1 of 3 in Dallas, while also going 0-2 covering at the current posted total. Even worse, the Cowboys have covered just 1 of 3 as the official home favorite, and has gone 0-3 covering against winning ball clubs. Most recently, this Dallas squad has failed to cover 2 of their previous 3 before last week's action at Dallas. All said and done, the case for Chiefs bettors can certainly be made. Now, when it comes to the scoring, we've seen a lot of it in both teams' games. KC's gone 3-1 to the overs in their last 4. They averaged 34 points of scoring per game in those overs. Meanwhile, very similar story on the Dallas side, as Cowboy games went 4-0 to the overs in their last 4 games themselves. They averaged 34 points of scoring per contest in those overs. All that in mind, though, I just don't know that I want to ride with the public bettors on a total. They moved that high. Plus, Dallas gave up just 14 points per game in their last 2. KC gave up 19 points a contest in 2 of their last 3. All in all, I think I'm just going to forego a play on the total in this one. I do like the Kansas City Chiefs catching points despite being on the road. I'm going to buy it up with the hook and move that line to KC +2 as well. All told, I like the Kansas City Chiefs +2 getting the job done against the spread. Next game, Washington at Seattle. The Seahawks opened up -6 with the total at an even 45. Since the betting opened up, most of that early money came pouring in on the Seahawks as expected. Seattle's now laying 6.5 with the total moving downward to 44.5. Currently, the Seahawks are $3.50 to win this one outright, and at the moment, just 46% of the actions on Washington. Shouldn't be enough to move the lines. We'll probably see a closing number of Seattle -7 if it does, but if you're betting sides in this one and you're leaning toward the Seahawks, they've covered just 3 of 7 overall and just 1 of 3 at CenturyLink Field. They're also covering 1 of 3 as the official home favorite. They went 0-2 covering against teams around 500 as well. But if you think Seattle's a bust to get the job done, just keep in mind that they're on a 4-game winning streak in the outright game. They also successfully covered the spread in their last 3 straight contests before last week's action. The Seahawks are going up against a Washington team who's been a covering nightmare for skins bettors. Washington against the spread is 2-5 overall, 1-2 when traveling, and 2-4 when catching points. Even worse, the skins against the spread are 0-2 at the current total, 1-2 as the official road underdog, and failed to cover their last 4 consecutive games. They're also just 1-3 in those 4 games in the outright column as well. All told, there are certainly some trouble areas on both sidelines when it comes to the spread, although Washington has faced some pretty stiff competition. Their schedule was absolutely brutal in October, for the exception of the Niners games. But the Niners game, not plural. But if you think the Skins can turn it around when it comes to the number, it's most likely 7 points you're going to be catching. Definitely shop around, though, and get your best market price, whether it's online or in a traditional brick and mortar. Now, scoring-wise, I have a bad feeling I'm going for a bit of a huckleberry play here. We've seen a lot of points in both teams' games, and of course, I'm really leaning towards the over. Seattle games are 3-2 to the overs in their last 5. They amassed 41 total points against Houston last week. They also averaged 40 points of scoring per contest in those 3 overs. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you've been watching these Washington games, obviously you've been seeing a lot of points scored in their matchups. Great team for the overs. Redskins games are 4-0 to the overs in their last 4. They're letting up 30 points a game in those contests. To be honest with you folks, this opening line on the total really opened up kind of low in my opinion. I'm guessing the books are taking into account the noise levels at CenturyLink, but that's actually where all the points have been scored at for Seattle. 64 and 79 total points in their last 2 at home, respectively. All that in mind, I'm definitely going to be making a play on the total in this one. I'm also going to make a play on the winner. All told, I like the Seattle Seahawks winning this one outright at home for some pricey moneyline cash with the over 44.5. Next game I have for you, it is going to be Arizona, San Fran. What a crap storm in the Bay Area. 4:05 Eastern start at Levi's. Do people still wear those, by the way? Arizona opened up -1 with total at an even 39. Since the betting opened up, the public money moved the lines to Arizona 2.5, with the total moving slightly upward to 39.5. Currently, the Cards are $1.37 to win it, and at the moment, just 40% of the public money's on San Fran, so we'll probably see this one close out with them catching 3 by kickoff. Now, if you like San Fran plus the points at home, you're really not at fault here despite their woes. The Niners against the spread have covered 50% of their games overall. They're also 4-4 covering when catching the points, 1-1 covering in games at the current total, and 2-1 covering against teams around 500. They're going up against an Arizona squad who's been god-awful against the number all year round. Against the spread, Arizona's covered just 1 of 7 overall, 0-4 when traveling, and 0-3 laying the points. Even worse, the Cards against the points are 0-2 as the road favorite, 0-2 against teams under 400, and 0-2 versus teams giving up more than 25 a game. In addition to all that, Arizona failed to cover the spread in their first go-around with the Niners. Having said all that, though, the Niners have lost their last 2 by an average of 27 points per contest. They're also facing a Cardinals team who's won 2 of their previous 3 before last week. All that in mind, let's slide into some total point breakdown before selecting a winner. And when it comes to the scoring, Cards games have gone 3-1 to the unders in their last 4. They scored just 8 points a game on average in those unders. They got themselves a Niners team who's 1-1 to the unders in their last 2 themselves. They've also scored just 10 points per game in their last 2 respectively. If we get some points in this matchup, I just don't know where they're going to come from. That said, I am going to forego a play on the total in this matchup. I really don't even like a play on the spread here, even though the Niners have been a pretty good covering team. All told, though, I'm going to go ahead and take the Arizona Cardinals at $1.37 to win this one outright in the Bay. All right, folks, I'm going to slide into my next game for you, and I'm talking about Sunday primetime football. Oakland at South Beach, 8:30 Eastern kickoff at the Hard Rock. Oakland opened up the betting as the 2.5-point favorites, and the total at 43.5. Since the betting opened up, we've seen a good amount of that early money come pouring in on the Raiders to get the job done. Right now, the Raiders are -3.5 against the spread, with the total moving upward to a cool 44.5. Currently, Oakland's 3-2 to win this one outright. And at the moment, just 29% of the public money's on Miami. So look for them to be catching a few more points by kickoff. Might be a good spot here for the books to cash in on some recreational money. The line moves don't make much sense to me on the spread here. The lines adjust for variables, and when it comes to the number, this Dolphins squad has been a decent covering team this year. Miami against the spread is 4-3 overall, 2-0 in Miami Gardens, and 2-2 catching points. And most recently, this Miami squad has covered 3 of their last 4. They're going up against an Oakland team who's been just plain bad against the number all year round. The Raiders have covered just 3 of 8 overall, 1 of 4 when traveling, and just 1 of 4 laying the points. Even worse, Oakland against the spread is 0-3 in games at the current posted total, 0-1 as the official road favorite, and 1-2 against teams over 500. Yes, believe it or not, Miami's actually 4-3 on the year. Most recently, Oakland's failed to cover 3 of their last 4. Now, before I go ahead and select a winner, let's break down the total real quick. Might be able to find something useful in the scoring numbers. Now, 3 out of Oakland's last 4 games have gone over the posted total. They're giving up 31 points per contest in those overs. Similar story on the Miami side of things as well. Miami games have gone 2-1 to the overs in their last 3. And they gave up 34 points per contest in those overs themselves. All that said, however, Miami averaged just 12 points of scoring themselves in 3 of their last 4. Oakland averaged just 15 points per contest in 3 of their previous 4 as well. We should see a lot of points in this one. I just don't know where they'll come from. Similar to the last game, I said the exact same thing. Ha ha! Now, all said and done, I think I have to go against the public action in this one. I'm also going to make a play on all 3 in this one after buying the hook. All told, I like Miami +4, Oakland straight up, and the under 44.5. Next and final game for the show, Monday Night Football. Guess this one looked great on paper in the preseason when they scheduled it. I'm talking about Detroit at Green Bay, 8:30 Eastern kickoff at Lambeau. The books actually opened this one up as a pick'em contest. Damn, they're sharp. Total was also opened up at an even 43. Since the betting opened up, though, no real surprises here. I guess they opened this one up as a pick'em in hopes that this one would close out at their desired number. The books will do things like that. But right now, Detroit's laying 2.5 on the road, with the total moving upward to an even 44. Currently, the Lions are $1.30 to win it, and at the moment, just 35% of the public money's on Green Bay. I'm actually looking for this line to close with Green Bay catching about 4 by kickoff, and who knows, it could actually end up being more. But if you're betting sides in this one, you got yourself in a fairly undesirable position here. Detroit against the spread has covered just 3 of 7 overall, 0-1 laying the points, and 0-1 at the current total. Even worse, this Detroit squad has failed to cover their last 3 straight games and failed to cover in 4 of their last 5. If you want me to make the case for you, I can certainly do that too. Detroit has successfully covered the spread in 2 of their 3 games away from home, and they're obviously facing a Packers team whose trends really don't matter, although they failed to cover the spread in their 2 games. Hundley touched the ball. So if you want to take sides in this one, unfortunately, we find ourselves in a lesser of 2 evils situation here. Banter and semantics aside, though, let's break down the total. Yeah, the scoring real quick. And when it comes to the totals, Green Bay's 0-2 to the overs in their last 2. They're not scoring much, and their defense is always on the field. Meanwhile, on the other side, Detroit games are 2-2 to the unders themselves. They averaged just 14 points per game in those aforementioned unders, and they actually gave up just 13 points per game in those matchups as well. I can't imagine we'll see ourselves any fireworks in this one, and if we do, it will most likely come from the men in blue. I hate betting these games where I don't have a lot of data, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we shouldn't see too many points in this one. All said and done, I'm going to make a play on the total and winner in this one. All told, I like Detroit winning this one outright for some money line cash with the under 44 in this one. All right, another show where I failed to speak English properly. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page. And have yourself a positive day.